I think this winter conference has to be one of the most disappointing announcements ever. Let's just start with the ban list. So Izazao and Furai both got hit more than half a year after the Japan side hit them. With Lovedress, Rezao, and Odium in the format, Shinui and Shoujodoji are not even close to being the best decks of the format. If the English side is just gonna copy the same restrictions, why wait until now? If anything, hitting them earlier makes players want to buy new and more powerful decks. Isn't that what the company ultimately wants, to make more money? And not to mention the two formats are drastically different now. The English side didn't have access to the Stride decks until just this week, and both Love and Berry aren't in the format to keep the other top decks in check. These restrictions only make the format less diverse when the whole reason for limitations should be to make the meta more open. And this leads to my next point, the lack of communication from Bushiroad. I think it really began when Moripi left the company and we stopped getting producers' letters. I still remember how hopeful everyone was when they announced that we'll be getting Records of Ragnarok the same day as Japan, and that didn't happen. So really, we only got these game-genic deck boxes that were cool, I guess. It really does feel like the English side has been left behind and more so just an afterthought. We stop getting promos as box toppers, we get sets way after Japan gets them, and we don't get collab cards in some of the sets and get them so much later when they become irrelevant. I understand there might be some difficulties like IPs needing approval or just some internal stuff going on at Bushiroad, but why can't you communicate that to us? And some of the decisions are just inexcusable. We see the Korean products including promos in main sets, so why can't English do the same? We are still missing important promos and we have no idea how long we have to wait before they get released. My next point, with more people playing premium, why is the upcoming Bushiroad Summerfest not guaranteed to have premium events at all locations? And don't give me the reason that it's because data shows people want to play in the Lyrical Monasterio Cup. That's just cap. I think my biggest complaint has to be how late the English side gets the sets compared to Japan. As someone who travels a lot due to work, it's extremely painful to have just played a set for a couple of months, then travel back to the West to play the same format for another 2 months. Yes, I know this isn't applicable to everyone, but a lot of us test online whenever the cards get spoiled, so by the time the cards get printed in English, we have already moved on to testing the new stuff from the next set. The biggest problem from this is that we get to see the new cards and what decks did well in Japan. The most recent example of this is with Leverdress. When Set 4 was released in Japan, this was a very budget deck. But then Set 5 released Descent King, and all the cards needed for the deck in Set 4 became super expensive before the new set was even released. And it's not like in Japan where card stores are literally everywhere. We don't have nearly as much cards in stock as they do, making the game much more expensive to play. Let's just take this week's anime for example. We aren't getting Set 7 until end of April, and the needed cards for Balsagra just all got bought out. And I can't blame the players for doing this, as if they do wait, then they can't play the deck in a couple of months because there just isn't enough supply. And also there's just little room for innovation after seeing the Japan side testing and developing strategies for months before we even get our hands on the cards. It feels like even though we're playing the same game, we're only getting half the experience. Obviously this video has been pretty negative, but the point of this video is that I love the game and hope for the game to grow. It's really painful to see other games thriving when all it takes for Vanguard to reach that next level is just more transparency. Let me know in the comments of your thoughts on the current state of Vanguard down below.